Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about the pre-release story of Battlefield 5 and why a lot of people out there think that Battlefield 5 is going to flop. I asked myself the question, pacing around my living room, wondering how we ever got to a point where many gamers have turned a cold shoulder to one of the most iconic shooting game franchises on the market. To one of the most beloved creations that at one point carved out the cornerstones for some of the industry's most exciting Total War first-person gameplay. I turn to the internet, reading article upon article regarding its eventual demise, and I stumble upon endless forum posts, usually headlined by a cry that Battlefield 5 will suck, it's gonna fail, screw this game. And it's not just the gamers. Leading analysts question the game voraciously, never ending in their quest for the next big article to publish featuring why Battlefield 5 might hit the tanker. Pre-order sales are weak, hinting that DICE and EA might have misstepped in the marketing game. Popular outlets are shilling out articles on the daily, hoping at any chance to take a shot at the game. Conflict is everywhere, met by indifference and at times questionably inconsiderate reply by both EA and DICE. People have taken to the streets, per se, to picket their opinions on the issues of historical accuracy, the portrayal of women, and amputees in combat positions, and a growing sensation that the game is turning into one big circus act. Time out. What the heck is going on? This is not right for a Battlefield game. People are taking these issues more serious and personal than anything that I think I've ever seen in this industry in terms of like a first-person shooting conflict. At least in terms of like rioting in the internet streets. People are entitled, heavily opinionated, turning the seed of a simple video game idea into a prickled thorn. It's led to a lot of hostility, let's be real here, and at times, a lot of fighting too, even though it's just a game. It's so strange to live in a time where games aren't just games anymore, they're built up before releasing, with a torrent of argumentation, critical analysis, deeply rooted personal conversations, and fighting back and forth between people that love the franchise and people who want to see it fail. Never before this time, not even in 2016 when Infinite Warfare's trailer was torn to shreds or when Battlefront 2 came out and there was that huge onslaught of controversy, have I ever seen pre-release coverage like this, so polarizing and personal. Because up to now, I think most of us just wanted DICE to release a new BF game and to enjoy it. But today it's much more than that. I'd like to talk quickly about this strange and unorthodox position the next Battlefield game seems to sit in. Quite honestly, I don't even know where to start. So where do we begin? Historically speaking, each year we see a miniature duel between COD and Battlefield. One that Battlefield has been winning, at least in the public eyes. COD seems to be painted in a dark light by the time the game comes out, as people just love to spit on its name. If it's not exactly what they want, and it never is because it's impossible to please any individual, they aren't afraid to let Activision know what's on their minds. Sometimes they say bad things about the game, they bastardize the game, they bastardize the company making the game because, well, a lot of people find it fun to hate on stuff. It's whatever. DICE's game sits quietly on the sidelines, often being praised for just not being Call of Duty, for being unique, different, or giving a higher quality experience in some people's eyes. At one point, DICE was known for the care they put into their games and giving gamers what they wanted, and while appeasing the veterans of the franchise, they marketed their games fairly, effectively, and listened to their communities as best as they could. COD continued to see backlash through the years, brought to a head in 2016 when they released the most downvoted trailer on YouTube, Infinite Warfare. After the hate subdued, there was Battlefield, shining like a bright star in the dark sky that Call of Duty had created. Players jumped at the opportunity to praise the brilliant Battlefield 1 trailer, and I'm sure many of those COD haters simply upvoted the Battlefield 1 trailer just because they wanted to send a message to Activision and show their hatred towards the game that they were loyal to for such a long time that took a crap on them. This kind of back and forth between the two heavy-hitting first-person shooting franchises happens all the time, every year, regardless if the magnitude is great or small. Battlefield always seems to be painted in a better light, like the industry is somehow rooting for them to win the fight. Ultimately, I'm sure that many COD players, once begrudged to the idea of ever thinking about playing a Battlefield game, jumped ship and gave their once enemy game a shot. It's ironic that today it seems like the industry has turned on Battlefield and is somehow, for some reason, cheering for Black Ops 4. Given the recent report that Battlefield 5's pre-order numbers were weak and trailing COD's, that may be proof of this new reality. So what the hell happened to flip this script? The success of BF1 was that it executed a nearly perfect marketing campaign. They made one of the greatest video game trailers of all time, provided clear communication on what the game was going to be, and paid numerous celebrities to help market their game. There was no controversy, to some extent. There was, but it wasn't, anything like Battlefield 5's. No hate, no angry gamer bandwagoning, no hostility attitudes towards their new World War I vision. The pre-order culture hype was immense, and I think mostly positive. The seemingly black hand of BF5, on the other hand, owes any publicity it has to controversy, and it's not good publicity. It's just bad marketing. I don't think that anyone really cares that women are in a Battlefield game. I think it's the degree at which they put these women inside the game. Because putting women and outlandish imagery in a Battlefield game is probably totally fine, but for some people, this is not the appropriate game to do so. The prosthetic arm, the blue face paint, the people jumping through glass windows on the second story and looking like they're having fun while doing it.
Hello, old friend.
The samurai sword, the katana, the game's general outlandish tone. The cyborgs, what the hell is this? This looks like a Michael Bay video game that has come to life. This does not look like a World War I video game. Thankfully, the new trailer for Battlefield 5 looks a little bit better, but this one was the first exposure that we all got to it. People don't hate this material. They hate the fact that it's being caked onto a game that the developers say is deeply rooted in history and authenticity. You take the same trailer, the same ideas, and the same balls-to-the-wall gameplay, and you call it Bad Company 3, for instance, and I highly doubt any of the conflicts surrounding the game today would have ever been. It's an exercise in perhaps not going too far with Battlefield, but cramming it into the wrong game. The conflict rose to a boiling point, though, because EA and DICE have responded to this feedback and our response in such a poor way. They've argued with people. They've made statements like, if you don't like it, then don't buy it, chump. Patrick Soderlund, one of the higher-ups at EA, at one point also called people ignorant for not knowing that women were in combat roles in World War II, that we should get quote-unquote educated. What the hell is that? That's not corporate communication. That's like petty roll around in the mud, I'm trying to prove my point. Kindergarten talk. He then waved off critics of the gender issue as sexist. It all looks like a big slap in the face to a highly opinionated or sensitive person. That's probably not good, Patty. Especially when most people aren't dumb enough to know that robotic, disarmed, katana-wielding women jumping headfirst out of windows, outrunning tanks and standing straight up in the battlefield yelling war cries probably wasn't the norm in World War II. And it's not, quote-unquote, deeply rooted in authenticity. And if you didn't know that by now, then maybe you should get educated. Yes, I'm exaggerating it a bit, but was the backlash justified for sensitive fans? Because some people actually felt that way. Well, it did, most likely, because Patty stepped down from EA, who had worked for the company for 12 years. What would drive someone to the point of madness to leave a company where he just got a pay raise to $50 million this year? I wonder. Now add on the story of picking release dates for BF5 in between Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2, which is what Titanfall 2 oh so wisely did in 2016. Look what happened to that game. Now add in the horrible reveal event and the reveal trailer, EA withholding game information to the public while only giving it to creators, and releasing a second alpha that was borderline identical to the first, and you can see why a lot of gamers out there aren't so sure that BF5 is the game for them, especially when everyone was hyped for a truly authentic and improved Battlefield game sent into the gritty and historical setting of World War II. EA is on thin ice, and they do not have another free pass with Battlefield, as both Battlefield 1 and Battlefront 2 ended up being heavily criticized by gamers across the world. Whether it was the loot boxes, the horrible DLC practices, the mistimed post-release content, or trying to dumb down their games to appease Joe Gamer in the casual market, it's not like EA has another get-out-of-jail-free card. People are cracking down on EA, live gaming not getting what they want, companies being bent over by the trend of the month, aka Battle Royale, and publishers that don't seem like they give a crap about them. Which has taken this story right to the present, where Battlefield 5's pre-orders are quote-unquote weak. So does the story add up and justify the recent backlash for Battlefield 5? That's up for you to decide. As a video game maker today, it's not like it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago where you could get away with people shutting up and just buying your game. I think today in 2018 people are speaking up and they are highly sensitive and entitled and they want exactly what they want. And they're not afraid to talk shit about your game, post articles online that are controversial, and speak out about what they think you're doing wrong. Personally, I don't think the game is going to live and die by the issues laid out in this video, but I think that they will take a pretty nasty hit to their reputation, as they already have, and their pre-order sales, which they already have, and that's going to have an impact on Battlefield 5's release date's performance, I think anyway. These issues are going to be highlighted up until the point of its release, and these issues are definitely going to be highlighted in its reviews as well, so it's not going to go away, these controversies, these conflicts, and the way that DICE and EA have treated their product leading up to its release. And it's not like these issues are cut and dry in the first place. Everyone has a different opinion. Some of these issues don't mean jack crap to some people, and that's totally fine, while it's also totally fine that people are rightfully, in backlash towards the game because of said issues. It depends on who you are as a gamer, how sensitive you are to these issues, and how much you're willing to let slide to simply be like, you know what, it's just a game, let me play your video game. So what kind of person are you? You guys let me know down in the comment section. Do you think EA has what may be coming to them with Battlefield 5? Also let me know down below in the comment section. You guys take care and have a great day. We'll see you guys in a few days with our next video. Peace, love, and happiness until that time.